in a world where loyal companions await. One place stands as their beacon of hope. The Pet Resource Center of Hillsborough County, where you can adopt your very own superhero. Adopt a dog. Find your sidekick and unlock the power of unconditional love. Suit up, show up, and adopt today. For more information, visit hcfl.gov/pets.
Today we're here for the announcement of the 2029 College Football Playoff National Championship game.
To have the College Football Playoff National Championship coming back to Hillsborough County for the first time since 2017. It's going to take place in 2029 right here at Raymond James Stadium, but when you look at all the marquee events around the country, this is one of the biggest. So to have it coming right here to our hometown is amazing.
Well, for starters, our community is so incredibly welcoming. It's truly Team Tampa Bay. This is a term we like to use. It's not a cute slogan. It's one that we take seriously. Today was a prime example of that, where all of our partners come together. We're at the table saying, how can we work together? What can we do to make this event experience the very best it can possibly be? And we will certainly look forward to doing that here with our second College Football Playoff National Championship game.
Welcome to a meeting of your Planning Commission, the official local planning agency for the cities of Tampa, Temple Terrace, Plant City, and unincorporated Hillsborough County. The Planning Commission provides innovative leadership and long-range vision that contributes to the creation of a thriving, prosperous community that offers opportunity, fairness, and choice in how we live, move, learn, work, and play. For more information about the Planning Commission, please call 813-272-5940. Follow us on social media or visit our website at planhillsborough.org.
Welcome to the December 8th, 2025 public hearing of the Planning Commission on City of Plant City Comprehensive Plan Amendments. We thank you for attending this meeting. Your comments and participation are encouraged. For those attending in person and wishing to speak on any agenda item, please sign the register at the rear of the room and turn off any devices that may be a distraction. To minimize feedback in the audio, all online participants in the meeting will be muted until it is their opportunity to speak. Planning commissioners should unmute themselves to indicate that they would like to speak. Please be sure to state your name at the beginning of your remarks for the benefit of the clerk. There will be an opportunity for members of the public to provide comments. When your name is called, you will be unmuted when it is your turn to speak. Please wait until the chair calls on you to begin speaking. State your name at the beginning of your comments and adhere to the time limits. If anyone has difficulties or is watching via HTV and would like to provide comments to be included in the record for the local government hearing, please email them to planner@plancom.org. For those of you who are not familiar with our process, the meeting will be conducted as follows. The agenda item will be introduced. Staff will give their presentation with a 15-minute time limit. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation with a 15-minute time limit. Following presentations, members of the public may address the Planning Commission when recognized by the chairman. Public comment will be heard for 3 minutes per person. The applicant will be afforded a 3-minute period for rebuttal response. Planning commissioners will then ask questions. Public comment will be closed. Then upon a motion, a second, and discussion, a vote will be taken. To all participants, please note that tonight's hearings concerns proposed changes to the comprehensive plan. Presentations should not include matters related to zoning applications and site plans that are not before the commission. Zoning conditions are not relevant to plan amendments and may not be considered by the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission's purview in making a recommendation is limited to consistency or inconsistency with the comprehensive plan. With that, I'd like to ask the clerk to please go ahead and call roll.
Good evening, Commissioners. Bowden? Here. Cardenas? Kona?
Here.
Jemison?
Here.
Kugler?
Here.
Linkus?
Here.
Lauk? Sieben? Sink?
Here.
Barry?
Here.
Orton? Joseph?
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
All right. Our first and only agenda item is 2A PC CPA 25-06, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, north of Trapnell Road, east of Mud Lake Road, and the presenter is Krista Kelly.
Thank you, Krista Kelly, Planning Commission staff. This evening I'm presenting PC CPA 2506. This is a site located north of Trapnell Road and east of Mud Lake Road. It's a privately initiated amendment, approximately 23 acres in size. The site abuts the Plant City city limits and is currently pending approval of a voluntary annexation concurrent with this amendment request. The applicant is requesting a change from Hillsborough County Residential 1 to Plant City Residential 4. As you can see on the location map, the site's located in the far southern portion of Plant City, again north of Trapnell Road and east of Mud Lake Road. It's approximately 1.5 miles west of State Road 39 and 2 miles north of State Road 60. This area shows the site outlined in pink and the Plant City city limits delineated in blue. The site is northeast of the intersection at Trapnell Road, which runs east-west on the bottom portion here, and north Mud Lake Road, which runs north-south. The area reflects a mix of agricultural lands, rural home sites, and large lots and rural-scale neighborhoods surrounding the site, and the site is currently used for agricultural purposes. Conversely, within Plant City's city limits to the northwest and west, south, and southwest, the development pattern appears to transition to a suburban setting that's up in this corner. The suburban tone of the area is established by the Walden Lakes community, which spans over 2,000 acres and is developed primarily with single-family homes on quarter-acre and half-acre lots. Non-residential uses in the area include a convenience store, again at the intersection of Mud Lake and Trapnell Road, and to the east of the site at the intersection of Trapnell and Sam Allen Road, there is an elementary school, Trapnell Elementary. This is a street view looking east at the site from Mud Lake Road. This is looking northeast at the intersection of Mud Lake Road, which is to the left, and Trapnell Road, which is to the right. The site is beyond these home sites. This is looking east from Trapnell Road. The site, again, is on the left-hand side, beyond the homes. This is the adopted future land use map. The subject site and lands immediately to the northwest and south are within Hillsborough County and are designated Hillsborough County Residential 1. This future land use category provides for a density of up to 1 unit per acre and is intended to recognize existing rural communities in the county and to allow for uses that are compatible with agricultural uses. Abutting the site to the east, which is within the Plant City boundary, the land is identified as a transitional area. And beyond the transitional area, the area is designated Residential 4 in this peach color up here. The transitional area denotes the land that has been annexed into Plant City but has not adopted a plan amendment to change the land use category from the county designation to a Plant City designation. The land beyond the transitional area allows for up to 4 dwelling units per acre and does not allow for non-residential uses. Lands within the Plant City limits to the northwest are predominantly designated Residential 6 and generally follow the boundary of the Walden Lakes planned development. The R6 land use category allows for densities up to 6 units per acre and neighborhood scale non-residential uses such as convenience type commercial uses under certain conditions. This is the proposed future land use map. Showing the subject site now designated Residential 4. Residential 4 is intended to recognize the least intensely developed residential area in Plant City and typically serves as a transitional buffer between agricultural areas and more intensive uses in Plant City. As noted on the previous slide, R4 allows up to 4 dwelling units per acre and does not allow non-residential uses. Under the current designation of Hillsborough County Residential 1, up to 23 dwelling units can be considered in approximately 257,000 square feet of non-residential use could be considered. If the amendment were changed to Residential 4, up to 94 dwelling units and 257,000 square feet can also be considered. The proposed amendment will allow the addition of 71 dwelling units. However, the non-residential square footage remains the same as does the floor area ratio. Staff reviewed the proposed amendment for consistency with the comprehensive plan and found PC CPA 2506 consistent with the following objectives and policies, which were used as the basis for this determination. Staff found that the proposed amendment aligns with Objective 1.1 and Policy 1.1.3 under the Residential Development section. This objective and policy calls for maintaining an adequate inventory of residential lands to accommodate future growth and encourages the consideration of a wide variety of housing types and densities to be responsive to the community's needs. Additionally, the proposed amendment is supported by policies under the annexation or related to the annexations. Land use policy 7.5.5 and housing policy 1.4.2 speak to the timing of growth in coordination with the availability of infrastructure. And Land Use Policy 2.7.1 points to the use of the Plant City Vision Map to identify appropriate areas for future annexation activities. In keeping with these policies, the proposed amendment site is in harmony with the vision map, which shows the site in an area envisioned for future annexations and residential development. Lastly, the site is consistent with guidelines provided for compatibility by Land Use Policy 7.4.5. These guidelines promote compatibility by calling for new development to be like uses that are complementary with the uses in the surrounding area and requiring the mitigation of potential adverse impacts. As noted, the subject site proposes a density of 4 units per acre, which is comparable with the existing development pattern in the area. And it provides for a transitional buffer between residential and agricultural areas. Staff also considered related policies for the consistency review. Under the residential development section, Land Use Policies 1.3.1 directs higher densities to areas in near proximity to activity centers, while not directly in conflict with the proposed amendment, which is seeking to allow for gradual increases of density on the fringe of the city limits. Policy 1.3.1 has a different focus, which promotes sustainability and pedestrian-friendly development, which in general is a growth goal for the city of Plant City. Under the growth management section, policy 7.1.3 and policy 1.5.1 focus on ensuring that public facilities, including transportation, schools, and school facilities, are coordinated with new development. Again, these policies do not directly conflict with the proposed amendment. However, it does prompt consideration for assessing the appropriate timing for new and more intense development. Staff did receive comments from the city, Plant City, Planning and Zoning Department, and Utilities Department. The city's Utilities Department, the Planning Commission's Transportation section, the school board, and none indicated a capacity concern or issued any objections. Based on these findings, the Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed map amendment, PC CPA 25.606, be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Plant City Comprehensive Plan. And that concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Does the applicant have a presentation?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, Executive Director, and staff. My name is Tu Mai of H2 Mai Inc. Office address is 14031 North Del Mabry Highway, Tampa, Florida 33618. I'm here representing the applicant, whom's here with me tonight as well. Subject site is 23.6 acres and is located northeast of the intersection of Trapnell Road and Mud Lake Road. The subject site is currently zoned AS1 with a future land use of Res1. The applicant is requesting to change the future land use designation from unincorporated Hillsborough County to Res1, unincorporated Hillsborough County Res1 to Plant City Res4 to allow for a residential development. There are 2 accompanying applications submitted to the City of Plant City for an annexation. Petition number ANX 2025-06 and rezoning application number PB-2025-33. Staff has already provided a thorough report and presentation, so I'll briefly highlight how this request is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Plant City Comprehensive Plan. As staff indicated, Objective 1.1, Policy 1.1.3 contributes to the Comprehensive Plan's express goals of maintaining an adequate inventory of land designated for residential to future accommodate growth. Policy 2.7.1 supports this amendment based on its location within an area envisioned for annexation and residential development as shown on the Plant City Vision Map. Policy 7.4.5 promotes the integration of new development through the creation of like and complementary uses. Coincidentally, there was an article in the Tampa Bay Business Journal written by Brianne Williams, dated August 21st, 2025, titled "Plant City Preps for Growth as Subdivisions Encroach on Strawberry Fields." I'd like to point out a few points to the board which supports this proposed amendment. In the article, the journalist states Plant City's population is expected to grow 76,000 by 2050, which is an increase of 82% over the present day, according to the Planning Commission. City Manager Bill McDaniel is quoted in the article as saying, we just have to figure out how we're going to meet that growth and shape ourselves, and this process that we're embarking on is a big part of that. In addition, Katrina Corcoran, Planning Commission's Strategic Planning and Policy Manager, said the employment data we have for 2024 shows that we are approximately 41,000 jobs as of 2024, which is an increase of 39% from 2016. By 2050, we're expecting that the increase is just shy of 70,000 jobs, which is an increase of 69%. In closing, we believe that we've demonstrated that this proposed amendment achieves the land uses policies and objectives of the comprehensive plan. We received no objections for the review agencies. We concur with staff's recommendation of consistent with the Plant City Comprehensive Plan. We respectfully request the Planning Commission's recommendation for consistent and forward your recommendation to Plant City Commission. Thank you to the Planning Commission staff for their findings and recommendation, and thank you to the Planning Board for your time and consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we had a couple people sign up in the public comment for this one. I will start off virtually with Chelsea Stock. Is Chelsea Stock on the line, HTV?
Yes. Hi.
Hi, you have 3 minutes. Please go ahead.
Perfect. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Chelsea Stock. I think it's important to note that I hold an undergraduate degree in geology and a master's in hydrography, and I live directly across the dirt road from the parcel subject to the proposed map amendment. I speak tonight as both a neighbor and as someone who understands how land and water interact. While I understand the development of this land may be inevitable, I think it's crucial that any development does not put any nearby residents at risk. I'd like to speak quickly and specifically about flooding and runoff concerns that I have with the proposed plan. The plan documents as provided do not reference any formal elevation survey or stormwater mitigation plan. The property was marketed as high and dry, and I firmly believe that both the property owner and the prospective buyers assume that this is true, but it's just not. 2 summers ago, our neighbor's yard at the end of the road was completely flooded, and this past rainy season, the portion of our property across from us had 4 inches of standing water for weeds. While it's not explicitly stated in the plan documents or a part of this meeting and individually, it's my understanding that development will likely raise the land for the new homes that are proposed. There are some important oversights that I'd like to bring to your attention as you make your decision on this amendment. When looking at the bare earth LiDAR elevation data provided through the 3-depth program, the lowest spots within the parcel are directly on the north side of our dirt road within the interior quarter of the parcel. The retention pond is located at one of the highest elevations on the property. From a hydrological perspective, as I'm sure you can assume, this is problematic. The water will naturally flow downhill, and in this case, that means towards our homes, our driveway, and the dirt road that is our only access in and out of our small neighborhood. This creates a huge risk for us in concentrated flooding, washouts, and then erosion of our dirt road. Even with that pond, its elevated position makes it virtually ineffective, and any heavy rains will bypass it and exacerbate the flooding on our parcels. With all of this, I would just quickly like to urge the Planning Commission and the County Commissioners to pause the approval of the amendment until a thorough site-specific stormwater or runoff study is conducted, one that considers the elevation of the pond, the raised lots, the dirt road, and the existing drainage limitations. I think it's important not only for the purchasers of this property and also for you as commissioners and as planning people for our county and for our town that we really do look at all of the data that's available to us. Our community along this dirt road is small. There's only 4 families here, but I think that we deserve protection from predictable flooding and impacts. And proper planning should ensure new development doesn't harm the people who already live here. So with that, I just want to thank you for your time and your consideration of real-life hydrological consequences of the proposal and of future proposals for this amendment.
All right.
And I trust that you'll make the decision.
All right, your time's up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to people in person, we will start with Mario Perez.
All right. Good evening, everyone. So I came out here on a whim. I wasn't really planning on it, and then the more I looked at it, the more I was just looking at the land and everything, and I realized that I had to at least come and say my piece is part of that small neighborhood that the last speaker just referenced. I really just want to talk about. I can't get into the science that you just got into. I'm not there, but I just want to talk about the specifically infrastructure burden and the public safety. I have 3 small children. He's going to be 2 here in 2 weeks, 5-year-old and an 8-year-old, and there are other small children just in our 4 houses. Couple that with all the other people in the area, 93 extra homes on a road that cannot support it with any other infrastructure is going to be dangerous, if nothing else. Not to mention the issues with traffic that's going to create. 93 homes is 93 cars. It's, figure 2 cars per home or more. That's 186 or more, and there's 1 stop sign, and then on the road to Highway 60, there's strawberry fields on both sides. Both roads are limited to, one is 45, one is 35, and there are already sheriff's deputies that basically live there, making sure that people don't speed. That's going to create extra burden on that infrastructure, and it's going to back up all the way to us and then to the extending Alexander Road. And it's just something that I think that the thorough thought, I don't think, was given. Maybe for the 23.6 acres, you look at that, you can put X number of houses on it, but the infrastructure, the way it affects everything, and I know there's a plan for Plant City, but I think that claiming that this is in line with that plan is just incorrect. Putting 93 homes in farmlands, the fact that we're here to specifically change the farmland versus building out in areas where Plant City could absorb the infrastructure, absorb the growth, and actually use it is just short-sighted and something that we can't really work with. That's all I have. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. All right. Next up, we have Russell Stock, or I think it's Russell.
Hey guys, sorry, dressed a little rough today. I just got off of work. Poured a big stem wall. I'm a GC, general contractor, CBC 1266978. I do know a lot about building. I've built a lot of new neighborhoods for Lennar, D.R. Horton, David Weekley, et cetera, et cetera. I know about construction. It's inevitable that they're going to raise this property up. Inevitable. They have to raise this property. So when they add, let's say, from the high point of the road, 2 feet of dirt across the whole property, you're going to look at, let's go 75 to 80 houses, I think 67 or something like what them proposed. You're going to elevate that whole property. The permeability rates is going to cut down from that property to like 60% at least. If you have a 2,000 square foot house, you're going to have a 600 square foot, sorry about that. You have a 500 to 600 square foot driveway, and then you have a retention pond. You're going to have a bunch of asphalt in the middle. Your permeability rates for that property are going to cut down like significantly. So we're going to have flooding issues. We already have flooding issues. The infrastructure that's there right now does not work. When it rains, it gathers up at the very end and comes up every time. So I'm gonna request that you guys just have them take a look at that, at the drainage sites plans. My wife spoke earlier on the phone, and I do construction in the area, so I know what's going to happen. We also have a lot of wildlife around there. We have coyotes that run from the YMCA, that run the wood lines all the way down and into the woods right across from us. They live in those woods. I know we can get rid of them, but we do have a lot of wildlife. So does that make sense that we're going to put this property for building 60, 70 new houses? I mean, does that sound like an area where we need 60 or 70 new houses? We have coyotes living right across the road from us. Not really. So I'm going to beg to differ on that might be the vision of Plant City. I don't really think it is. I think maybe that neighborhood could be used somewhere else. We're experiencing a lot of growth. We had 360 new townhomes put in about a mile and a half away from us. That makes sense over there. Like, it really does make sense to put it all next to the city. I don't think that we should be absorbed. We also do a little bit of shooting and stuff like that around our house. We are in Hillsborough County. We are allowed to shoot on our property. Hillsborough deputy lived where we used to live. We actually bought it from a Hillsborough deputy, and he did shooting on that property as well. It's a great, like, country setting. We left the city and we moved to the country. We didn't move to have 60, 70 houses right across the road from us. We made sure we lived in the county. We have chickens. We have turkeys. We have those things. You know, they're well kept, and I don't think it's the right move. So, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Your name?
Russell Stock.
Oh, and the mic.
Russell Stock.
Thank you, sir. All right. Next up, we have Julie Hilson.
Good evening, Commission. My name is Julie Hilson. I'm, again, a part of that small community off of Mud Lake Road. We have a lot of flooding, okay? Whenever I'm saying flooding, 2 to 3 foot, okay, with just a rainstorm. We're not talking about a hurricane, okay? This flooding is coming off of that property and into my neighbors' homes, into our yards. Okay, if somebody drives off of that little dirt road into our yard, they get stuck. Okay, we have Amazon drivers that get stuck, FedEx drivers that get stuck with a little bit of rain. To touch on the infrastructure, our roads can't handle this. Okay? The road, Mud Lake Road with the stop sign, just yesterday there was an accident there and it was backed up all the way almost to Walden Lake. We couldn't even get out our driveway. Okay, also the wildlife, we have gophers in that field. Okay, we have bobcats. Okay, there's no telling what else is out there. But those gophers have been there a whole lot longer than we have because they're huge, okay? I mean, my family has been on this property for 5 generations, okay? It's always flooded. We've always had this wildlife. We've always been a farming community. Like I said, we have chickens. We have parties. We like to get loud. Every weekend you're going to have the mariachi band. I mean, how is the city going to control that whenever they have a turnoff time? On our weekends, we don't have a turnoff time until later. So, and also I have a special needs child, okay? With all this people, I mean, is he going to be able to play out in the yard? Because we're going to have a whole lot more traffic, okay? Will I be comfortable letting him play in his own yard, on his own swing? So, thank you for your time again.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. That was all we had for the public comment, so I will turn it back over to the applicant for a 3-minute period of response.
To Mai again for the record. Thank you for the citizens for their concerns. We duly noted all their concerns. However, as Mr. Chairman has indicated at the beginning of the hearing, that the planning board is tasked to deem this proposal as consistent with the future land use comprehensive plan. Therefore, any site development issues will be addressed during the site development review for the city of Plant City. However, staff did note on the report that the FEMA map did not indicate any floodplain issues. However, when we go through site development, we will address any stormwater issues that will meet state requirements as well as City of Plant City requirements. As far as the environmental concerns with the wildlife, we did do a phase 1 ESA assessment, and they did not show any impact or wildlife for that area. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Over to the Planning Commission Board for questions, comments, discussions of this item. Commissioner Loud.
I do think the applicant made an interesting comment in her rebuttal. Tracy, could you expand upon our obligations to look at site plans or not to look at site plans and what that means when in terms of water runoff and some of the primary concerns of the neighbors, just for our edification as a board and for the public's?
Yes, well, site plans are not a part of the consideration for determining consistency with the comprehensive plan any more than zoning considerations are. So those are for another day. Does that address your question?
That's perfect. Where would the public go to voice those concerns regarding the site plan?
So I believe that the application do they have a concurrent rezoning, Krista?
It's yes, they have a concurrent rezoning, and in Plant City, they consider both at the same time. They consider the plan amendment and the zoning.
And they consider that at the same time at the planning board and at the city commission.
Yes, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
At both the meeting and the public hearing.
Okay, thank you for that. And then a question for staff, since I have the mic. Can we walk through, just looking at some of the maps in the packet, it appears to be almost a little bit of spot zoning in this particular spot, and then running around on the drive-bys on the aerials and looking, the ground level stuff. The compatibility of the change seems to be a little bit of a reach for me anyway. I'm wondering, what did I miss? Am I misreading the maps? Or can you talk a little bit more
Could
in
you
detail?
direct me to the map that you're referring to?
I'm looking in the section when we get to the end, and in the all the different maps that are in there, and you can see the jumps.
I think if you pull up the
future.
current future land
Right.
use
If you,
map.
if you look at the future land use map,
Okay,
it looks
that's-
like we have adopted future land use and then current future. If we go back, I was wondering if
This
my
is
maps
the
crossed.
adopted map. This is
the proposed. This is the adopted, which in right.
This is what is current. The land use is currently residential 1, Hillsborough County residential 1.
Right. And then when we go to the future on the next one,
Yes.
that seems to me like it's a little spot in the middle in the sea of R1. And I'm wondering if there's been other developments out there that I didn't see in the aerials. Are there other plans that are underway that would make this more in line with the area?
That's a very good point, and we did look to the east. You see that transitional area where they didn't take the steps yet to choose a appropriate Plant City category. It's in a holding pattern. However, further to the east, it is residential 4, and it's somewhat anticipated, but I can't speak for the future. That's the trend in that area. We also looked. Yes, it is surrounded by agricultural lands in the county, but it's quickly becoming almost an enclave because Walden Lakes, and on the fringe of Walden Lakes, there are suburban scale developments extending and mimicking that development pattern. So that's what we balanced as in a big picture sort of way.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Any other questions or discussion items from the commissioners? Commissioner Linkus, I see you.
I guess I'm just not fully clear on what that transitional area means. I didn't quite follow that explanation.
Sure. So what happened, that land has been annexed into Plant City. They have not yet gone through the step of doing a comprehensive plan amendment. So they, now the city requires that to occur concurrently with annexations, but they didn't always. So this was from a little while ago, before they required it. When they select a category, as you can see on the map legend, residential 4 is one of their lowest level categories, and the one that the city typically encourages them to go to, because that they will be required to be on water and sewer in the city of Plant City, and that is a more efficient use of those services. So to some degree, yes, as Krista said, we sort of assumed that when they do come around to do their land use category, that they're going to ask for what the other properties have done, and that factored into our view of the compatibility.
All right. Other questions or comments, discussion of this item? Commissioner Seaman.
I just wanted to mention, I know it's, in these situations, it can be difficult, seeing new development come into your neighborhood, and everybody has concerns about the storms and runoff, and that's totally understandable. But I just wanted to mention that with a well-designed plan by a very good civil engineer, it can oftentimes improve the stormwater issues for the surrounding neighborhood if designed and constructed well. So It's not necessarily that development is coming and therefore it's going to be more problematic. In a good circumstance, it can actually improve the situation for the entire neighborhood.
Good point, Commissioner Sieben. Are there any other comments, thoughts, questions from the planning commissioners on this one? I'm not seeing a lot of excitement, so I will go ahead and close the public comment on this item and open it up to motions from the planning commissioners on this one. Commissioner Kona.
Yeah, motion to find PC CPA 2506 comprehensive plan amendment consistent with the comprehensive plan.
Commissioner Lauk.
Second.
All right, we have a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Kona, second to that motion by Commissioner Lauk. Are there any more questions, comments, or discussion items from the commissioners before we take our vote? I'm going to kick it to you for a roll call vote on this one, Mr. Clerk, please.
All right. Bowden?
Yes.
Kona?
Yes.
Jemison?
Yes.
Kugler?
Yes.
Linkus?
Yes.
Lauk?
Yes.
Sieben? Sink?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 9-0.
All right. All right, that was our only agenda item for this evening. And so with that, at 6:08 p.m., I will adjourn the City of Plant City public hearing, and I will move on to reading us into our City of Temple Terrace public hearing. If you'll bear with me for just a moment. Welcome to the December 8th, 2025 public hearing on the Planning Commission on City of Temple Terrace Comprehensive Plan Amendments. We thank you for attending this meeting. Your comments and participation are encouraged. For those attending in person and wishing to speak on any agenda item, please sign the register at the rear of the room and turn off any devices that may be a distraction. To minimize feedback in the audio, all online participants in the meeting will be muted until it is their opportunity to speak. Planning commissioners should unmute themselves to indicate that they would like to speak. Please be sure to state your name at the beginning of your remarks for the benefit of the clerk. There will be an opportunity for members of the public to provide comments. When your name is called, you will be unmuted when it is your turn to speak. Please wait until the chair calls on you to begin speaking. State your name at the beginning of your comments and adhere to the time limits. If anyone has difficulties or is watching via HTV and would like to provide comments to be included in the record for the local government hearing, please email them to planner@plancom.org. For those of you who are not familiar with our process, the meeting will be conducted as follows. The agenda item will be introduced. Staff will give their presentation with a 15-minute time limit. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation with a 15-minute time limit. Following presentations, members of the public may address the Planning Commission when recognized by the chairman. Public comment will be heard for 3 minutes per person. The applicant will be afforded a 3-minute period for rebuttal or response. Planning commissioners will then ask questions. Public comment will be closed, and upon a motion, a second, and discussion, a vote will be taken. To all participants, please note that tonight's hearings concern proposed changes to the comprehensive plan. Presentations should not include matters related to zoning applications and site plans that are not before the commission. Zoning conditions are not relevant to plan amendments and may not be considered by the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission's purview in making a recommendation is limited to consistency or inconsistency with the comprehensive plan. And with that, I'd like to ask the clerk to please call roll again.
Bowden?
Here.
Cardenas? Kona?
Here.
Jemison?
Here.
Kugler?
Here.
Linkus?
Here.
Lauk?
Here.
Sieben? Sink?
Here.
Joseph?
Here.
Barry?
Here.
Orton? Thank you. You have a quorum.
All right. First and only item 2A, TTCPA 25-01, Comprehensive Plan Text Amendment, Capital Improvement Section Policies 1.1.1 and 1.1.3. And the presenter is Erica Larson.
Good evening, Mariella Overdorf, Planning Commission staff. Tonight I'll be presenting on Erica Larson's behalf the proposed text amendment to the Temple Terrace Comprehensive Plan, specifically addressing Capital Improvement Section Policies 1.1.1 and 1.1.3. This is a publicly initiated text amendment. The purpose of this amendment is to remove outdated language from the Capital Improvement section and add one new policy. Specifically, removal of outdated language includes references to the 15-year multimodal transportation program, the annual level of service report, and the concurrency management report. The reason for this update is that these requirements are no longer mandated by state statute. Under previous growth management laws, local governments were required to maintain a 15-year multimodal transportation district schedule, an annual level of service report, and a concurrency management reporting process. The proposed amendment aligns the city's comprehensive plan with current state law and ensures that Temple Terrace Capital Improvement Section reflects only what is required for compliance. As written, the policies require the city to incorporate portions of the 15-year multimodal transportation program into the annual capital improvement section. Since this is no longer required, the amendment removes this language. The new proposed policy, 1.1.10, clarifies that the city may continue using a 15-year multimodal program for long-range planning in coordination with regional planners and partners if desired. The Planning Commission received comments from Hillsborough County departments and from Hillsborough County Public Schools. Both agencies had no objections to the proposed amendment. Staff also coordinated with Temple Terrace staff on this amendment. The proposed request is consistent with the policies and objectives in the capital improvement section listed here. These policies refer to the process of updating the capital improvement section in regards to addressing infrastructure needs, maintaining service levels, and planning for future growth. Planning Commission staff recommends that Temple Terrace CPA 25-01 be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Temple Terrace Comprehensive Plan. This concludes my presentation, and I am available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there an applicant presentation? No? No one from Temple Terrace?
Katrina Corcoran, Planning Commission staff. This was publicly initiated by the Planning Commission.
I was just making sure no one from Temple Terrace had anything to say. So, all right. We didn't have anyone sign up in the public comment for this one. So I will turn it over to the Planning Commissioners for comments, questions, discussion. Don't everybody rush now. All right, going once, going twice. I'll close the public comment on this one and open it up to motions from the Planning Commissioners on this item. Commissioner Linkus.
Make a motion that Temple Terrace CPA 2501 be found consistent with the Temple Terrace plan.
Commissioner Lau.
Second.
All right, we got a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Linkus, a second that by Commissioner Lau. Are there any comments, questions, thoughts from the commissioners before we take our Commissioner Coleman?
Nice job on your presentation.
Yes, very good job. All right, any other thoughts, comments from the commissioners? Not seeing any, then we'll all signify their agreement by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? This motion carries unanimously. And that is our last item of business for the night. So good night, Hillsborough County, and at 6:15 p.m., this public hearing is adjourned.